I figured I better do this sooner rather than later, so I'm gonna get it done. If you're Facebook friends with us, you saw that our adoption failed, and we came back on Friday after we transferred our daughter back to her birth mother on Friday, and we've been back and just kind of hanging low right now. So what happened was she was born a week early on October 24th. We found out that the birth mom was going into labor on earlier on the 23rd, and we were waiting and respecting her privacy and the time that she wanted. So we didn't leave until after she was born. She was born at 12:09 on October 24th. We thought she was going to be huge. She ended up being 6 pounds, 6 pounds and 13 ounces. Yeah. So she was tiny. We went to the hospital that day. We got up there. We had to stop and get fingerprinted. So then we went to the hospital later that day around noon. We met Ezra May, and we met with the birth mom and her mother. And it was just really nice, and we both held her, and it was really sweet. And it ended up being a lot harder. The birth mom's mother ended up being like super emotional, and it was really, really hard for me to handle. So the second day we ended up just learning like how to bathe her and everything, and then left. We spent like that whole first day with her and the birth mom in the hospital. It was really hard then too, because the birth mom wanted to breastfeed, and originally we thought we were going to have our own hospital room so that we could bond. I was going to bring breast milk, as I said in like another video, and then the birth mom decided she wanted to breastfeed, and it wasn't working, and so the baby was hungry, and like I knew she was hungry, but I couldn't say anything because it would step on toes. And so finally, like the next morning, after she'd gone a whole day without eating, the nurses kind of convinced the birth mom to do bottles. So I was really thankful, but that was like really hard and kind of traumatic. She then decided that she wanted to stay an extra day, which I understood, but that was disappointing. So she ended up being in the hospital 3 days, and then we went to get her, and it was kind of like a little bit of a traumatic experience. We found out then at discharge that not only did we have to wait the 2 weeks for the birth mom to go to court, get everything ready to go to court to sign her rights over to us, but then after that she'd have 3 more weeks in the state of Vermont to change her mind, which was something we didn't know. So that was kind of extra scary and stressful. So that would have been Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Thursday. Anyway, so we did get discharged from the hospital. She came to stay with us, the baby. Birth mom went to New Hampshire to be with a friend. We got her into her first doctor's appointment, got her first vaccine, and yeah, it was really nice. It was fun. We stocked up on all this formula and everything, and it was really cool. So yeah, it was really nice and very sweet, and it was just a nice time for us. We had her for 8 days, and in that 8 days we went to Cabot, we went to Ben & Jerry's, we got like a whole bunch of things for her at this antique shop to put in a memory box, and then we found out 5 days in that the birth mom might change her mind. So we ended up just sitting there for 3 days, kind of wondering back and forth. I ended up, against the kind of knowledge and suggestion of our social workers, I ended up contacting the birth mom on my own, without the agency, and met her for breakfast on Friday, this past Friday, to see if I could kind of get where she was coming from, see what she was feeling, and kind of do my best to remind her of why she chose adoption in the first place. We talked for about 2.5 hours, and after that I kind of had a feeling that she was going to be going in the direction we didn't want her to go in. I guess our social workers knew all along, pretty early on in the week. They were talking to her daily, and I guess they knew that she was like trying to find like resources so that she could parent, and they didn't tell us that. So we thought it was more a 50-50 chance when really she'd already made up her mind. We were just like taking care of her baby while she was figuring it all out, and they didn't tell us that. So yeah, we weren't really a fan of that. And we did talk to them about that, and I mean, in the end, like, we don't blame our agency for anything. One of the reasons why we chose them was because they don't pressure birth moms into making one decision or another, and we wanted to make sure that we were with an agency that did that, that didn't do that. So we are glad that they didn't do that. However, we wish that they had kind of kept us in the loop a little bit more and fought for us a little bit more. We had wanted to, when the transfer took place, we had wanted to give her directly to the birth mother so I could go over. I had like a whole schedule for her. I had a doctor's appointment scheduled actually today for her 2-week follow-up. And she had colic, and I had like all this stuff, and I was having her lay a certain way and like burping her a certain way that I'd worked out, and like Brendan and I had like figured all this stuff out to make her more comfortable with her colic and hiccups and stuff. And so I wanted to go over that with the birth mom, and we were originally given a choice, and we were told we could meet with her, and then the birth mom was feeling guilty that she changed her mind and decided she didn't want to see us, instead of our social workers taking our side and saying, no, you need to see them because they need to tell you like about, they've had this baby for 8 days, they need to tell you about like what's going on with her. They took her side and they wanted us to wait. So we found out Friday that she had changed her mind. They wanted us to wait till Saturday, and one of them would be there around 10 to pick up the baby. And we were like, no, you have to come now and get her right now. So it took them about 2.5 hours to get to where we were from New Hampshire. But they did come and get her because I would have had to go out and like buy more formula and everything because she was almost out. And so, so it was very traumatic and devastating, and we're not really sure what we're going to do right now. It looks like our home study might expire in a month and a half, and our agency is kind of pushing us to stick with them, although we are kind of liking the idea of the foster care system with children who are already legally separated from their parents. So we have a couple friends and family who are doing that or just did that, and it seems like it's just a little bit more of a, not a sure process, but one maybe where we have a little bit more control. So we might do that. We're not sure yet. We're kind of talking things through with close friends and just like praying about it, and yeah. So we're like, we don't really know how to describe it. Well, if you've lost your child, that's how it feels, because that's what happened. So, you know, if you've been there, or if you've, I mean, it's hard because I know right where she is, but I can't do anything. I can't see her. And the doctor's offices have been calling us, trying to figure everything out with like her appointments and her medical records, and some things are under our name, some things are under the birth mom's name, and so they had to work it all out. So like we got a bill the other day for appointment, and I had to call and straighten that out, and then like they called me today trying to figure stuff out, and like I got a reminder call yesterday for her appointment that's for this morning, and it's like just rubbing salt in the wound right now. So yeah, it's just been really hard, and we knew it was a possibility, but first of all, you never think it's going to be you. And our agency, I guess this hasn't happened to our agency in a really, really long time. So we were pretty assured, and the birth mom was like assuring us she wasn't going to change her mind. So it was like, sure, we could have been more guarded, but between our hope and our social worker and the birth mom reassuring us, we had no reason to think that she would change her mind all of a sudden. But it seems like because her family like all came around her after, like when she found out she was pregnant, they shunned her pretty much. And then she had the baby and they all came around her, and I think she was just so desperate for her family that she just wanted that, and you can't blame her for that. Who doesn't want to be loved by their family, right? But in the process of that, she like tore our family apart. So, I mean, that is that. So, not really sure what we're gonna do from here, but like if you've been on our Facebook and been following us on here or whatever, especially if you've been following us on Facebook that week, like when we were asking for prayer and support and stuff, we really do appreciate that. And slowly but surely we will be getting back out and doing things, and I'm sure, as everyone says, God has a plan, so we already know that. And I'm sure he does, and I know he does, but kind of just wondering what's up. So I know we're not the first people to go through this, and we won't be the last, and we just hope that we can use it in someone else's life. So we thank you for your support, and yeah, we'll keep you updated with what we decide to do from here. All right, have a good night, guys.